Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to tackle a medium-level problem on LeetCode. It's called Process String with Special Operations I. This problem is all about processing a given string with some special operations. And we need to create a new string based on these operations. So let's dive in and see how we can solve this problem. The problem statement asks us to process a given string. And we have 4 special operations that we need to consider. The first operation is when we encounter a star. The second operation is when we encounter a hash. The third operation is when we encounter a %sign. And the fourth operation is when we encounter a lowercase letter. We need to understand what each of these operations does and how it affects the result string. So, the core insight here is to understand the effect of each operation on the result string. Think of it like building a tower with blocks. Each character in the input string is like a block, and the special operations are like instructions on how to modify the tower. When we encounter a star, it's like removing the top block from the tower. When we encounter a hash, it's like duplicating the entire tower and stacking it on top of itself. When we encounter a %sign, it's like flipping the entire tower upside down. And when we encounter a lowercase letter, it's like adding a new block to the tower. By understanding these operations, we can process the input string and build the result string. Now, let's walk through the solution step by step. We start by initializing an empty string to store the result. Then, we iterate over each character in the input string. For each character, we check what operation it represents. And we perform that operation on the result string. If the character is a star, we remove the last character from the result string if it's not empty. If the character is a hash, we duplicate the result string and append it to itself. If the character is a %sign, we reverse the entire result string. And if the character is a lowercase letter, we simply append it to the result string. Now, let's take a look at the C++ code that implements this solution. We start by defining a class called solution with a method called processStr that takes a string as input and returns a processed string. Inside this method, we initialize an empty string called result. Then, we iterate over each character in the input string using a for loop. For each character, we use an if-else statement to check what operation it represents. If the character is a star, we use the pop_back method to remove the last character from the result string if it's not empty. If the character is a hash, we use the plus operator to duplicate the result string and append it to itself. If the character is a %sign, we use the reverse method to reverse the entire result string. And if the character is a lowercase letter, we use the plus operator to append it to the result string. Finally, we return the result string. Now, let's talk about the time and space complexity of this solution. The time complexity is O(n*(m), where n is the length of the input string and m is the average length of the result string. This is because we might have to reverse the result string, which has a linear time complexity. And we do this for each character in the input string. The space complexity is O(m), where m is the maximum length of the result string. This is because we need to store the result string. And in the worst case, its length can be up to m characters. And that's it. That's the solution to the process string with special operations I problem. I hope you guys found this explanation helpful. If you have any questions or you'd like to share your own approach, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and comment your approach below.